Hello guys, this new video is a new dungeon campaign from John, the D&D master. Now I quite didn't make it to the group campaign as there is a list of people already on the wait. I thought I made it, but a couple of people who actually couldn't make it, made it. It did took the spot back and I'm on a solo campaign. I have never once been in a solo campaign, so I was a little freaked out with the zero testing from other testing campaign. So here are the starting of the campaign. I'm a level 12 and I get multi-class, so pure class. I'm allowed 2 equip of any kind and 2 homebrew skills or spell of any kind so long as the dungeon master agree with it. After much failure for an hour of making different combinations, 2 items were given to me upon request and 2 skill were allowed to be made upon request. The dungeon master wasn't allowed to see what class I picked, as he wanted to be surprised and find it a challenge in making it more difficult for me. So basically, if he knew the class that I was playing, he could have just made it a little bit more harder on me. Now that he doesn't know when I had started the campaign, it would be a lot harder until he sees me playing the character. First of all, I'm not as clever as other people who spend their life in this game, so I went with something basic that kind of derives from other testing that I did as a Swordlock player, which I wasn't allowed to play a Swordlock, but I can still play Warlock with something else. He already figured I was playing a Warlock, but couldn't quite figure the other multi-class that I was using, which, by the way, is a Rogue, so I'm going with a Warlock Rogue. Rogue has great stealth and probably may survive if I can get away with sneaking away. So, with all further ado, D&D John's solo version campaign, The Wakening. A little about myself. My name is Grimoire. Born in the art of stealth and magic. So as you already guessed it, I'm a rogue warlock. I even said it. I was told to be stealthy, be convincing, and a liar, which runs on my persuasion and deception. I prefer ranged combat, but willing to smack someone who is close to me if they ever want to get physical, though they won't see it coming. I was made in the mountain of Morai and trained in there as well. During my adventure, I did many scouts, I fought many battles, and I did what I believe was sort of right. But, like my master believed, I was a failed subject. I had grown to have better judgment, and even though I like lying and convincing other people of things, I believe that what I did in the end wasn't right. These feelings were confirmed in the Battle of Agora, where I slain in my master's name humanoids. But one stand apart those. One who's under my darkness spell, he made me see a vision of everything my master Setsu was doing from the beginning. I heard him in my mind. The vision you see was passed by my master Gotetsu, who protected our realm from generation with Master Goken. But I sense in you great power. Though misguided and corruption grows within you, I sense you to be one with great judgment. Leave to Mount Duera, where you will speak to Lilith, daughter of Durodan. There, this human mage died and withered away. I heard the first in command, Grimoire, go to Setsu. He wants to speak to you. You see, not until later will I figured out that Setsu figured out that I was a complete failed subject. Out of 7, the 8th was made perfect. And there was one who was made after me. Pure feeling in evilness, no corruption of goodness, no good judgment. Everything was the way my master made him. And so my little brother would succeed me in the command, but not until I defect and run to the mountain of the Dwarven, Mount Duera, where I would speak to Lilith, daughter of Durodan. In my travels, I kept sight of the fight that I once participated. Places there are now wasted and abandoned. After much journey, I reached Mount Duera, where I used my disguise kit to look more friendly elf. There I was greeted a little harsh as their guard said no elf are welcome here. I screamed to them that I had a vision of a humanoid who spoke of Goken and Gotetsu, one dwarven, one human. As soon as I named Goken, guards came after me with their hammer at me. Who are you? And I answered, Grim. I almost mentioned my name, but they would know who I was and I would be killed on sight. Instead, I said, Nazir, from the Elmere family. The Elmere family were the family of great honor, El who fight for what was right. With great deception, I fooled them into believing me who I was. I then played it carefully and tried to persuade them into allowing me to speak to Lilith. At first, they say that the daughter of Dudatan speaks to no one, but I won their heart with my charismatic charm and succeeded them in persuading them to allow me to speak to her. As I reached my way to Lady Lilith, every corner I would have a dwarven trying to figure out who I was. But many times I succeeded in fooling them all that I wasn't Grimoire, but that I was Nazir from the Elmere family. Until I reached Lilith. She instantly somehow recognized who I was and started to giggle. A shiver ran down my spine. I could figure out that she found me out, but how? Lilith said, "Oh great Nazir, I've been waiting for you, for such a high elf of the noble family has graced us with its presence. But I am confused as to why you are here. If I may be so bold as to speak to you in private," then a dwarven interrupted me. "That will not happen!" "Oh hush now. No one will dare to do anything stupid in the palace of Duera. Such thing wouldn't go unnoticed and the culprit will be tortured for such acts," Lily exclaimed. Lilith brought me to a secret room where I said why I came. Tetsu will kill me for this. He probably somehow already knows. But I cannot return to him. I saw a vision with Goken and Gotetsu that I could help in this fight. Then she stared at me, curious. I am a failed subject of Setsu. My little brother succeeded me, and I am just something to be disposed of. However, I have a will of my own. No one controls me, and if you were to be so inclined as to tell me what I should do to help, then I will do thy work and help bring this war to an end. Lilith tested me out in a practice room around the courtyard, where I fought a dwarven with high skill. As soon as the battle began, I casted darkness, and then started to cast curse on my opponent, unknowingly. My opponent thought I was chickening out inside the darkness, but when everything was over, I was the winner. The only thing that the dwarven saw were darts coming at him, darts like no other. Lilith was impressed and sent me on my first task. Close to this mountain there are some ogre. Drive one away if possible, or defeat it if you can, which I doubt you will be able to. But at least shake them up enough for my army to head around them. After that, you are to go back to your place of birth. In the palace of the Tower of Morai, there is one dwarven who was kept locked up and tortured. I could see it in my own dreams. Bring me this dwarven, and you will not only bring this war closer to an end, but you will be rewarded extremely for it. I said, a journey such as that could bring my end. But if my end is not ended in there, it will probably be ended somewhere else, as I cannot hide forever as Nazir. So I headed out around the mountain of Duera and found one ogre. As that happened, I prepared myself. Darkness was cast, but before the darkness, mage armor. Even though a hexblade warlock such as myself, I dislike and am disgusting in wearing armor. I prefer the free battle of my clothes, as armor makes too much noise. Plus, it looked bad on me. I casted a curse on him and was ready for battle. As the ogre noticed the darkness cloud, it was too late. Rain and shower of darts was thrown at it. But to my surprise, he lived. He seemed to be the leader of the ogres. The ogre rushed at me and smashed into the darkness. You missed, I said. I moved back with the darkness just a little, throw my magical darts at it and moved again, making my location hard to detect. It then rushed again and attacked. Poor creature allowed me. I moved back, jumped into the air and looked at its eye with a smirk. I threw another rain shower of darts at it. You see, they are magical darts and they, let's just say, have good numbers of damage. Ogre then started to rage at me and rushed at me again. This time, he actually hit me. I was surprised. He sent me a flying 20 feet. As I landed on my feet, I shrugged some of the damage off, but my darkness disappeared. This time, I had enough of it, and I got serious. I recasted my darkness and showered him for a massive damage of darts. The ogre looks up, barely able to stand, and boom! It hits the ground. I started to majestically cheer up and dance inside my darkness. But right then and there, more ogre heard my cheering. So I cast Flight and moved away with my darkness, as the ogre looked up in the air and pondered what happened. As I landed beside the lake, I take a little rest. I call upon my imp and made my journey to Mount Mora. This and this section of John's campaign, The Awakening. The Awakening.